It's going to be a bit more intimidating with the holiness on that side of the room. Visiting young men for the Vianney visit, Mr. and Mrs. Lavore, and about one half of my brothers. So it's the spring of my junior year of high school, and I find myself at an Operation Andrew dinner. These are dinners with young men with any interest in the priesthood. How I got there is mystery to me. I was with about 20 young high school boys, and at the time, priesthood was this annoying, petrifying thought that kept coming back and over again. I had so many misconceptions about it. I saw it as a job like any other. I saw it as a way of life where you couldn't get married or have kids. You're probably grouchy all the time, and you're most likely over the age of 70. So that's what I thought. And as dinner began, I was told that the bishop would be running a bit late. I didn't even know who the bishop was at the time, and I didn't think anything of it until he sat right next to me at our table. So what happened? Well, to my surprise, this particular priest seemed to radiate joy. He appeared to be laying down his life for something great. His focus seemed to go far beyond the comfort, pleasures, and empty promises of this world and to that of the next. I realize now that the first time in my life, I was witnessing a priest truly on fire with the love of Jesus Christ. Who was that priest? Archbishop J. Peter Sarton, former Bishop of Joliet, my home diocese, and currently the Archbishop of Seattle. Archbishop Sarton is originally from the Diocese of Memphis, Tennessee. He attended Memphis State for 2 years before entering St. Meinrad's College Seminary. After studying theology at the North American College in Rome, he was ordained to the priesthood on July 15, 1978, and served the Diocese of Memphis for many years in many ways, which included vocation director. Pope John Paul II appointed him Bishop of Little Rock, Arkansas in January 2000, and then he became the Bishop of the Diocese of Joliet in May 2006, where he served for 5 years until becoming Archbishop of Seattle in 2010. So there's 3 qualities about Archbishop Sarton that I especially admire and that have influenced me in wanting to become a holy priest. And that's, he's a shepherd, a father, and a truly spiritual man. So first, Archbishop Sarton is a shepherd. He knows his sheep by name. So I once heard a story about a woman from the Diocese of Arkansas, or Little Rock, Arkansas, who met Bishop Sarton at a social gathering, and they had just brief small talk, hardly gotten to get to know each other, and 4 years went by until they next met. She happened to be visiting in the Joliet Diocese, and as she was going to reintroduce herself to Archbishop Sarton, he recognized her and called her by name. 4 years later, he still remembered her name and carried on the conversation as if it happened just yesterday. So, Archbishop Sarton has met hundreds, if not thousands, of people in his ministry. But once he meets you, he takes you in his heart, and he knows you by name, just like the Good Shepherd. The second quality I admire in Archbishop Sarton is his fatherhood. Some of my favorite encounters with him took place when he took the time just to gather with his seminarians and speak with us. The best way I could describe it is a father spending time and speaking with his sons. He would encourage us, challenge us, affirm us, and teach us with the wisdom only a father could offer. He would also joke around with us, and he liked to have a good time. Once at a seminarian retreat, the day was winding down, and about 30 of us were just kind of hanging out. And he said he'd be right back with a surprise. No idea what was it going through his mind. And so he returned with a priest friend with 100 sliders from White Castle. That's right, Father Bauer, 100 sliders. So it was a humorous gift, but I'll never forget how happy and excited he was to see our reaction, to see how surprised we were. Just as a father seeks to please his children. No comment how he felt after eating the 100 sliders. So he didn't just see us as seminarians, but as spiritual children. And he sees all of the people he serves as his children. He has a book called Strengthen Your Brothers. And in it he says, our role as fathers is to sustain the family, that is our parish, and to love our parishioners as we would our own children. Would I give my life for them? Do I? I don't know if you've ever met those people that make you feel like you're the only person who exists in the world when talking to them. Well, that's Archbishop Sardin. Every time I'd speak with him one-on-one, it felt like he had no other care in the world. That I was the only person that existed at that point. It felt like I was speaking to a father, and I knew that he saw me as his son. And so finally, the last quality that I really admire in Archbishop Sardin is perhaps one of the most important qualities about him. And if it didn't exist, then neither would anything I've mentioned at this point either. And that is, Archbishop Sardin is a truly spiritual man. Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI once said, the priest must be above all a man of prayer, a truly spiritual man. Time and time again in his papacy, Pope Benedict would stress the importance of having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, not only as Christians, but especially as priests. I'm convinced that this is the core of Archbishop Sardin's ministry. In every homily I heard him give, the name Jesus Christ was mentioned time and time again. The Eucharist is a common theme and priority in his exhortations and his writings. He would tell the seminarians to prioritize private prayer above public prayer, to have extra time for intimacy with Jesus. And finally, the way he carries himself radiates the love of Christ. Archbishop Sardin is certainly a spiritual man. So, 4.5 years ago, I was petrified of the call to the Catholic priesthood. I realize now that I was afraid of what I thought it meant to be a Catholic priest. Archbishop Sardin has taught me that the priesthood, it's not a secular job, but a way of life. He taught me that celibacy is not so much giving up a wife, but a call and gift to special intimacy with Jesus Christ and His church. He taught me that in place of giving up biological children, you receive thousands of spiritual children in return. And finally, through the joyful and Christ-like example of his priestly ministry, he taught me that we receive life precisely when we give it away. Such an example inspires me to become a holy priest for Jesus Christ and His church. Such an example is what it actually means to be a Catholic priest. And such an example is why Archbishop J. Peter Sardin is my priest hero. Praised be Jesus Christ.
Now and forever.